haven't been live in a minute. Welcome back to Locker Talk with a little spin of the pretty spectacular football show. Get in here. We have so many things to discuss. All right. So we are going to be getting into Cam Newton's new baby, Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers. Let's not blank it back there. Clarissa Shields and what she has going on and how she responds back to fans over the BET snub. And I'm here to defend her and so much more. And we're going to get into this after I play my intro video. So I see y'all when I come back. But like I said, welcome back to Locker Talk.
Girls love sports, we play it all day. Shooting threes at the gym, then slay. From the field to the court, we make them say. Pretty fierce, tough chicks lead the way, hooray.
I love that intro. I really do. But before I get started, I do have to make a major announcement. So the reason why y'all haven't seen me for a long time is because your girl been stressed out and she been overworked. I've been exhausted. Okay. And I've come to the realization that I'm doing so many different things. And a lot of it is a lot of the same stuff, just in different formats. You know, like same person, different font. Yeah. So a lot of my shows are doing the same exact thing and they're just in different fonts. So after today's show, it may be the next show that I come back with a new name change or something, but we're going to, and I'm sad to say it, but I'm going to have to consolidate and make it just one big show, one big podcast, one thing, because I have so many. I have Locker Talk, which also goes and it's streamed on the radio. So I have to format it and do that. And then I had the Pretty Playbook podcast where I was just sitting and talking to people. And then I have the Pretty Spectacular Football Show, which is through MTNV. So cool, we keep it there. And I was doing all the other little things on TikTok. So, like the Wednesdays and all those other things. And honestly, it's just becoming too much. And football season is around the corner. So, I'm going to be busy every single Saturday from August 23rd until January, 14th or so, I'm going to be busy. So I have to make it where I am not just leaving y'all on red and hanging out and just not being around, to me actually feeling like, okay, I can do this. I still love this. I'm not giving up. I'm not quitting, because honestly, I was like, I ain't doing this no more. I'm quitting. And, I've been doing this for 2 years, or 2.5 years now. And there's been some growth and I'm still working on it. And we're just going to take time to pivot. I've pivoted so many times before, and that's okay. I just want to leave people with this. If you have to pivot, pivot. If you feel like exhausted, lower your burden, because if you love something, you don't want to get to the point where you end up hating it and you end up giving up on it because you feel as though that it is overwhelming and it's too much. I have been producing all of these shows by myself, doing all of the edits, doing all of the captions, doing everything by myself, one woman show. And I need to change that. But I also had to realize that I want to be able to know what I was doing in order for me to know what I was doing, if that makes sense. But there are going to be major changes coming forth. It may just go into just being Locker Talk, or I may just change the Pretty Playbook. I'm not really sure what I want it to be, but I am making that change. So you're not going to see 500 different things from me. You're going to see like one massive show. We're going to do all the things. Talk about all the sports, all the gossip, all the tea. We're going to do interviews. You're going to have my game day recaps. You're going to have all of those things, because it's me. It's my show. So I should be able to do what I want to do without having to be 5 different shows. If you feel what I'm saying, okay? And you might make it on the radio. Okay, if you do an interview with me, you might make it on the radio, because the radio will be starting back up in July, possibly August, when football season starts. So lots of things going on. So I just want to make that major announcement before I get into it, because I got lots of stuff to talk about, as I already previewed. So let's go ahead and dive in, okay? Now, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is obviously the thing that's happening right now. People say it's the most important thing. I mean, I don't know if I say it's the most important thing, but it is a thing. I think I want to do it like this. So, the NBA Finals is a thing. It's going on. The Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder are at it, duking it out right now. The Pacers are leading the series 2-1. Okay, Halliburton is a problem. Okay, Halliburton say, "Come here, bring that ball here." If you know the reference, you know the reference. He's turning it up. Okay, he's doing what needs to be done. Hmm. And one of my viewers, my really dear friends, is a Thunder fan, and woo, I can say the way the Thunder look, I don't know. They have a long way to go, and that's really that. I'm really not into it, as y'all know. I was rooting for the Knicks, and they're at home. I did do a video about how they fired their coach. Right now, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Pacers. But the Pacers are looking like they're trying to take this. But there's still a lot of basketball left. I did say it was going to be Thunder in 6. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. In other terms of teams being in the finals, we have the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. If you don't know, now you know it is hockey. Y'all know I love me some NHL. I love all hockey. The AHL, the ECHL, the NHL. There's another one. I love it all. Y'all know I love hockey. So these two teams met last year. They're meeting again this year. You know, they're trying to change the narrative. Canada is trying to get their dry season of not winning the Stanley Cup out. We, as the Americans, have been killing it and leading the way for years now. 30 plus years. So they're really trying to just come in here and do it. And Edmonton is probably the best team to do it. Before I was like, okay, Winnipeg got a little something going on. Yeah. But you know, the Oilers are the Oilers. They do have what is his name? How did I forget that quick? And I love him. Connor McDavid over there. My goodness. So they're trying to hold out, but the Florida Panthers are leading the series 2-1 as well. But it could be Oilers in 6. Ooh. Okay, let's get into it, man. Moving on. Another team that's moving on to the championship, which somebody was on my line today, was like, you gotta talk about the DC Defenders. I don't know why that logo looks weird like that, but the DC Defenders, if y'all know, is UFL. And remember, it was the bridge between the XFL and the USFL, put it together to become the UFL, and now the DC Defenders are going to try to get them a championship this year. They lost in 2023 to the Renegade, so now they're trying to beat the Michigan Panthers, and they are going to go and duke it out for the championship. And it is surprising that their record, I believe it's 6-4, so like, you know, or was it 4-6? Something like that. Something like that. Y'all don't hold me to it. I haven't not really been into the UFL, to be honest. But I'm going to get into it more. I made it somewhere. If they would have let me cover it, I probably would have been like on it, tip-top shape. But I do know that it was the Memphis Showboats that they were good, and they kind of struggling in the Birmingham Stallions. There also was a pretty good team there. So this year we have some new kids on the block. So they're going to dip it into it. They're going to do the thing. And I will let you know who wins. They play on Saturday. So next show, you will know who won. And that's that on that. So we're going to move it right on. Okay. There's some new women in town. The girls are back in town. Hey, okay. The Irsay siblings, the sisters, the daughters of the late Jim Irsay, are now the official Colts owners. They have done the transition of ownership over to them, and they are owners. It's all 3 of them. And I actually missed out on reporting this when the late Mr. Jim passed away. I had a whole little article thing on it. I had to get into it and read it because to me it was like, what? He just was what? Huh? I didn't know what happened. It didn't come out saying that he was sick or anything, but it did come out saying that he did have, troubles and struggles with addiction, which is why the Colts organization as a whole really does a lot of community work when it comes to addiction and mental health. I love that they do that with their organization. And he knew that he wanted the team to stay in his family. A lot of people were on the internet talking about it's nepotism. It's not that. This is not that. It's not that of you, okay? And learn what nepotism is, and then maybe you could say that, but that's not that. They were literally inherited this team, and not only they didn't just like show up out the woodworks when he died. It was like, hey, we're running a team. Like, no, they have had influential roles within the Colts organization for years now. They have getting prepared. They have been getting prepared. Jesus, help me out with taking over the ownership and really making sure they are understanding what they do and how they do it and how the things operate. From one sister being the head, she was leading the initiatives for the mental health and the community advocacy, activation of partnerships and things. And then you had one of the other daughters really being all in and being on the sidelines, having a headset on, knowing the call sheet, trying to figure out and understand what's going on within the operation. Of the other sister was doing more of the, like the presidential work and things like that. So they all had their hand inside of this operation for a very long time. This is nothing new to them. They were getting prepared for the moment when they were going to inherit the team to keep it up and running, because it's been a family business since they became the Indianapolis Colts. So it's been a family business, and it's been very important that this business stays within their family. And I think it's super duper dope. I mean, last year we were talking about, or the year before, whatever football season we were talking about, the Raiders having the female ownership, and the Carolina Panthers and their ownership with, and their ownership and presidents being women. So just now to see this, you have three really strong women who have done the work, who have shown up, and who really seem to love the Colts organization. And I know that they will carry on the organization for their father in the most best way possible, especially with how they have just been so involved with keeping the organization up and afloat and relevant. So congratulations to them. We got new girl bosses in the building. Y'all know I root for this. I love this. And I can't wait to see the things that they bring, the things they bring and continue to do within the Colts organization. So I just had to make sure I threw that out there, because that's very important to me. Y'all know that, okay? Now, moving on, we are going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers. Finally signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers after months of speculation, after months of rumors, after they passed up on Shedeur Sanders in the draft and every other quarterback in the draft, after all of those things. But it's come time for mandatory camp. He showed up. He looks fresh. He looks fierce. He looks like he's ready to play. And he also got married months ago, allegedly. So, maybe this will help his attitude. Maybe he'll come in a little bit more fresh, a little bit more put together. There's a thing where he was saying, I'm going to mentor because I have to, not because I want to. And I understand that. And, Joe Flacco did a media presser where he was like, well, y'all, that's a baiting question, because no matter what I say, you're going to take it and try to flip it and reverse it in no matter way. So yes, I'm here in the room and I'm teaching them things. I can give them things and I hope that they take up and pick up on it, but I'm here to play football. I'm a football player and that's what I want to do. Because if I say I only want to be a mentor, you're going to say that I don't care. Right? But we all know that Aaron Rodgers really has never actually been the mentoring type. It's really kind of like when he's in the room and he's doing the things, just take your notepad out, write some notes down, pick it up, catch it, figure it out, and be ready for if and when it is your time to hit the field. Period. That's just what it's always been. But Aaron Rodgers is saying, some people are saying it's good. Some people are saying like, whoa, we're excited about it. Others are like, we don't want you. We don't want you. And I can understand, from speaking from a fan perspective, like, dude, you had us wait months and months and months with the speculations and the rumors and all those things. And it's like, okay, come on, like, what are you doing? Right. And I get it. Like, he had to, and this is the thing, when I said that, I called him out last year about being a diva, of like having to go like, oh, I'm doing my family things first. I have other engagements, other plans, It's like, everybody else has a life too, So I kind of get it, like having, the fans weigh, and the fans are being upset about it. But on the flip side, it's also like he has the longevity. He has the quarterback IQ still. He has the arm, and we need the arm to get the ball down to DK Metcalf. And, really building on and really trying to help this Steelers identity on offense really become a thing, because it's not really and haven't really been a thing since Ben. And we all know how I felt about that transition of why did we wait to the very last year once Ben is out, we're now bringing somebody else, and that's just not the proper way to do it. I totally agree with the commentators that are saying like the Steelers did not do this the right way. Like great teams prepare their next in line, same way that when Aaron Rodgers was a Packer and they brought in Jordan Love, same way when was it Alex Smith was in Kansas City and they brought in Patrick Mahomes, like building up Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson coming in. So everybody who are now in really good positions with their quarterbacks, in most cases, they've had to really build up and really bring in that new talent. And Pittsburgh just dropped the ball when it comes to that. A lot of people were saying that Mike Tomlin might get fired after this year if it's a bad year for them. Other people are like, no, Mike Tomlin's going to stay. They haven't fired a coach in over 50 years. So they're probably not going to fire him. But we don't know what's going on. Okay, there's a lot of things just going on. Omar Khan is trying to work out the deal. They say that he's the con artist and trying to really get things. There's rumors saying that they're trying to get Alexander to come. They're trying to get Jalen Ramsey. They're just trying to really build this identity again. And it's like about time. It seems like there was a lot of stuff going out, George Pickens leaving. Now he's probably going to be a threat in Dallas and so many other things going on. And it's like, you need to get it together for real, and everybody will say, well, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they never actually like suck. They just aren't that good. Well, when is it going to be time to really turn this thing around? And like the division is, to me, it's one of the hardest divisions. I don't care what anybody say, but it's one of the hardest divisions. You got the Ravens, the Bengals, and if the Browns can figure their situation out, they could be contenders too. Because the Browns are just up and down. They've been a roller coaster too. But like there's just so much, and the Chiefs, and there's just so many teams that the Bills, so many teams that you have to get through in order to actually make a run in the playoffs and maybe try to get to Super Bowl. And Pittsburgh is nowhere near that, especially with a 41, 42-year-old quarterback. It's just nowhere near. But I am happy to report that they finally do have a QB1. They finally do have somebody else. I love me some Mason Rudolph. I really do. But when the answer was not the answer. Okay, they finally got somebody in there. So we'll see, hun. We'll see. We shall see. Another one that we shall see about is Bo Melton with the Packers. He is a wide receiver. He got drafted by the Seattle Seahawks and then he was released. Now he's a Packer and they're giving him reps as a DB. So, they're like, oh, is this the Travis Hunter effect? And we got to come correct when we say that Travis Hunter is not the first player to play on both sides of the ball. So we got to stop saying that, the narrative. But it could be a trend of child, am not supposed to be saying it, but is it becoming a trend and is it going to become more popular now for players to really be on both sides of the ball, taking reps and just seeing, where are they suited best? They're going to do a little this, a little that, a little dibble, a little dabble, really figuring that part out. So is it going to start being more popularized and more modernized and really just putting it out there? But I think it's a great thing seeing maybe he's better as a DB. I mean, we don't know until we know, right? So yeah, maybe he's better as a DB. I don't know. But he's taking those reps and he's looking pretty good on both sides. So that's the thing. So we will watch out this season to see what he's doing, how he's doing it, how is it going, and all of those wonderful things. Another person that we have to watch out and see for is the none other than Cam Newton and Jazzy are expecting their second baby. Number 2. I know y'all say, not everybody wants to get married. Not everybody wants a ring. Not everybody, yada, 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 whoop, whoop, shut up. Okay. But when are we going to stop saying that and trying to make that a standard? It's not a standard, okay? After what she went through with the first time, the first way around, and the the baby thing, and like he's just honestly, I feel like he uses women as breeders. Maybe she likes being a breeder. I don't know. But I do know I would not be given a second, and this is just me and my opinion. You do not have to agree. I would not be giving a man a second baby, especially after all the things that he says and all the things that he talks about. You know, if you don't see me as being somebody you want to be with longevity or in marriage or whatever, and he has his own things that need to work out, I will not be a part of the bringing and the breeding of babies in the world. And there's no commitment at all outside of you're just a girlfriend / baby mama. I just don't agree. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. And again, this is my opinion. Feel free to have yours. I don't really care about yours, but feel free to have yours. My opinion is that we would have had to have some type of stronger commitment if I was going to be bringing another bundle of joy into the world. This is now his what? I think he has 5 with the with what's her name? Kia. 5. So 7. He's now going to be on baby. He's now on baby number 7. He is doing his Nick Cannon thing. Okay, yeah. And also news for him, he and another lady are going to be doing 106 in sports. Because we needed another sports show. Because 4th and 1 podcast wasn't doing nothing. Because they had everything else, all the other podcasts I talked about sports. And all. I thought the fans were asking for 106 in Park. I don't think they were asking for 106. 106 in sports don't even sound right. That don't even sound right. All right? Don't even sound right. 106 in sports. What? Huh? Whatever, child. I'm moving on. Will y'all be tuning in? Will y'all be watching? Let me know, chat. Let me know, chat. Will y'all be watching? I won't be watching, though. I won't be watching. And before I get into the mess that's going on, I do have to represent and talk about my girl, Clarissa Shields, because y'all playing on her top. Y'all playing on her top, her big one. Okay, like y'all trying to put disrespect on her forehead. And I understand that she responded as she should. As she should. If you don't know who this is the Clarissa Shields. Okay, she is a boxer, and she is the best boxer to ever do it currently right now. I don't care what you said. I said what I said. Okay, I said what I said. Y'all playing on her top. Y'all trying to make it seem like she's only relevant because she's going back and forth with Remy Ma and Papoose. Cut the crap. Okay, she's been that girl before all of this. Has this little argumentation thing going back and forth on the internet probably hurt her? Yes, it probably did. But don't play on this girl top. Okay, so the reason why we even all talking about this right now is because the GOAT went to the BET Awards as she was nominated for Sportswoman of the Year, as she has been nominated 3 times before, right? So she goes, and everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but I know for sure, I was looking at like, this has to be her year, right? Because in 2020, she lost to Simone Biles, arguably understandable. In 2021, she lost to Naomi Osaka. Understandable, because they at those points in those years in their careers, they had standout years. And Clarissa had won this year, especially with the Olympics, as she won her 2nd gold medal in the Olympics. And we're not just talking about she just has 2 gold medals. First of all, we're not gonna cheap shot gold medals like that. Don't mean nothing, right? Cool, got it. So she's a gold medalist, right? 2 times, and she has a record of 16-0. She's also the only boxer, male or female, so the only boxer right now who has won 4 of the major world titles. And let me make sure I'm getting it right. So she has a WBA, she has a WBC, she has an IBF, and she has a WBO. And she has a match coming up in July where she is going to go and try to defend her undisputed championship, right? Her title. From my understanding, I believe it was 9 undisputed titles. Okay, so if we're going to talk about somebody who should have gotten the award this year, it should have been her. She should have gotten the award. No tea, no shade against Angel Reese, because y'all know I talk about how y'all know I stick up for my girl. But if we're looking at accolades and we're looking at Sportswoman of the Year, if we cannot say that she wasn't and shouldn't have been a contender. She should not have won the award. And again, like I said, maybe her behavior, we're going back and forth, did it cause and have an effect on it? But come on, let's not act like there's not other things going on, other beefs and other things that are going on in the WNBA, especially with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and all those things like that too. So if we're going to say that one's behavior is faulting another, then we can say that the made up or the continued back and forth of the creation of the beef in the WNBA should have something to do with Angels. Now, again, Angel is, yes, she's popular. Yes, she's talented. Yes, she is now one of the fastest growing WNBA players to put up 30 consecutive double-doubles. So yes, she has those accolades. But when you're looking at something, this is a gold medalist two times. Arguably one of the best boxers in the world. She, like I said before, her accolades speak for themselves. And at the end of the day, we have to stop giving awards necessarily on popularity and really look at the deservings of them. Not saying that Angel Reese does not deserve it, but I just think that one deserves it a little bit more. I feel like this year was her year, especially after it being an Olympic situation. Come on. We have to stop playing this. And everybody says, I understand boxing for women is not as popular as it should be, but that doesn't mean that you take away from everything that she's worked hard for and that she has earned by just being who she is. And it sucks that a lot of people are saying they never even heard of her until the Remy Ma Papoose thing going on. Because if we're going to talk about supporting women in sports, if we're going to talk about supporting Black women, if we're going to talk about making sure that we are behind the women who create spaces for other young girls and other women, we cannot not defend her and take up for her at that same breath, because that is not taking up for Black women and supporting women in sports. That's not doing that. You do not have to put one down to bring one up. And I am really over the argument of that. And at this point, I love her. So I'm going to stand beside her. I'm standing beside both of them. And I'm not putting neither one of them down. As you see, I celebrated both of them. But I think that you really needed to understand and you really needed to really get hip to who she was and stop playing on her name, period. Because if it was a male, right? If it was Floyd Mayweather and he went on there and was like, I thought accolades would matter. I thought this year was my year. Congratulations to Angel Reese or whatever. Y'all wouldn't necessarily be in his DM tomorrow, or tweeting at him tomorrow, oh, you need to delete this because you sound like a sore loser. No, she's not a sore loser. She's not a sore loser, but she's giving you the facts. At the end of the day, a lot of people like to pass off their opinions or their feelings as facts, and that's not how it works. Facts are facts. The facts is she's one of the best, if not the best, boxers in the world. And I said what I said. And I'm standing 10 toes down on that. You're going to argue with your mama. I'm not going to argue with y'all. But I said what I said. She deserved the award. Period. Point blank, period. Said what I said. And on that note, I got one more thing to talk about before I roll up on out of here. Is it one or is it two? I think it's one. It's one. Now, FAMU athletic director had to turn herself in for fraud. Ain't that something? I had to read it. I want to bring it up because I wanted to make sure I read it and got the information before, because this tagline to me is just a little off-putting. I feel like the tagline is a little confusing when you look at it, because you're thinking that, wait, she was doing fraud at FAMU? Like, what? What's happening? No, that's not what happened. So in this article made by Black Millionaires, it says Angela Suggs, who was appointed as FAMU's athletic director in September 2024, is now facing serious legal trouble stemming from her prior role as the CEO of the Florida Sports Foundation. So it's not from FAMU. This is from her prior role because she was doing a little too much. And this is how, right? So after an investigation by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the one thing you should know that you should not be playing with and playing in these states is in the state of Florida and the state of Texas. I don't know why y'all be playing in their face. Like they don't gather it up. You can do whatever you want in most cases, but don't play with them with their money. Don't play with them with their money. They're coming after you. But anyway, there was an investigation, right? And it was revealed that Suggs misused a company credit card during her tenure. Okay, so they found that she spent around about more $24,000 on personal items, which included cash withdrawals and transactions at casinos, luxury trips and items. And she allegedly falsified travel expense reports by labeling personal meals and costs as business related. And while she claimed the misuse was accidental and she promised to pay it back, she never fully settled the amounts. So they said, come here. Come here. We got you now. You thought that you was going to misuse our money? You thought you was going to have this lavish lifestyle on our dime? And you promised to pay it back and you didn't pay it back? Yeah. You going to jail. You going to jail. It's fraud now. You're going to jail. Because you should, for one, I understand she, maybe she should have admitted it, but I don't know about that. I wouldn't. I don't know how you are misusing your company card as your personal card. You shouldn't even have. It should be two different cards. I mean, that card should stay at your desk, locked up, safe and key. Shouldn't even be in your personal purse. Shouldn't be in your little coin purse. Okay, because that's how things like this happen. But then you're mislabeling your personal meals as business meals. You knew you couldn't do that. You knew you couldn't do that. You at a casino gambling? Yeah, what is the tea? If you got a gambling problem, I think that probably would have been a better cover story, maybe. I got a gambling problem and I need to go to Gamblers Anonymous. Child, what is happening? What is happening? And I know some people will be like, oh no, there's an attack on the HBCUs. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay. She attacked her prior employer. So she got to deal with the consequences. You do the crime, you do the time. And I think that should be across the board for everybody. No matter what you look like, who you are, what you do. If you do the crime, you got to do the time. And unless you're proven innocent. Okay? But she wasn't proven innocent. And she admitted it in the report. It's saying she admitted it, that it was a mistake. And I'm going to pay you back. Girl, the first thing you should do when that salary closed on that FAMU check is you should have wrote them a check and probably give them a little more on the back end and submitted that check and handed it over, because you probably wouldn't be here where you are now. Take care of your responsibilities and stop making dumb mistakes. How about that? Let's start taking accountability. We are lacking accountability. We need to stop doing that. We need to take accountability for our actions, for our mistakes, apologize, do what's right, and move on, because this probably would have never even really made it out there like that if she just would have use them funds, and if she would have never did it to begin with. But if you say you're gonna pay somebody back, you need to pay them back, because guess what? They get it back in blood. So we got things to talk about in the upcoming weeks. But anyway, y'all, thank you so much for sitting on the show with me today. Like I said, I will be coming back with a new revamped one show thing, and we're going to figure it out, because I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I don't want to quit the show. I don't want to quit everything that I've been working on. I don't want to quit. I want to keep it going. So thank you all for those who do support me, for those who are looking for the shows, those who are sending me so many well wishes and thoughts to my phone, and just supporting me. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Even if it's only 2 of you, if it's 20 of you, and someday it's going to be 20,000 of you, if not more. I cannot wait to really scale it up. And I think in order for me to scale it, I have to really focus on consolidation and making it the best that it can be. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in with me. I can't wait until I see you all next time, and until we come back. And please make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing on all social media platforms at PG Love Sports. And if you want to go ahead and support me in any other way that's like a Cash App, please go ahead and send it to cash $ pretty girl Des B. Okay, but until next time, I got to peace out with y'all, and I love y'all so much.